First of all, the visitors, Cal Poly Mustangs. Head guard, 5'3" junior from Palo Alto, California, number 2, Annika Shaw. Head guard, 5'5" graduate student from San Jose, California, number 5, Ania Nicholas. Head guard, 5'7" junior from Sacramento, California, number 10, Sydney Richards. Head guard, 5'10" junior from San Jose, California, number 15, Sydney Borland. And then forward, 6'1" senior from Watsonville, California, number 35, Natalie Ackerman. Head coach Chanel Stiers, assisted by Salva Johnson, Brooke Atkinson, and Sherry Nells. Please, fans, the Cal Poly Mustangs. Student from San Jose, California, number 33, Hannah Jump. At guard, 6'2" junior from Athens, Greece, number 20, Alana Bozgova. At guard, 5'7" sophomore from Alameda, California, number 10, Talana Lipolo. Forward, 6'3" junior from Los Angeles, California, number 44, Kiki Irafrin. And forward, 6'4" senior from Beaverton, Oregon, number 22, Cameron Brink. And coaching for Stanford Cardinal, Tara Vanderveer. Associate head coach, Kate Pay. Assistants, Katie Stenning, Timmy Brown, and Erica McCall. Fans, your 2023-24 Stanford Cardinal. 3 points. Kalana Polo. Kickball. This session remains with Mustangs. Mustang foul number 10, Sidney Richard, first person, first team foul. One of us got on the line for the Cardinal, 2. Stanford Nov, first 22, Kevin Brink, first personal, first team foul. With Dimitri fixing for the Cardinal, replacing Kevin Brink. jump ball. Position Cardinal. Checking in with Mustangs, number 24, Mary Carter. Placing number 15, Sydney Morgan.
Good reverse pivot, no good though from Richards. Now Lapolo comes with it. Goes hand and jump backdoor, what a pass.
That's good pass movement and ball movement. You see here on the replay, nicely. And she passed it without picking up the ball with her strong hand. Led jump right to the basket for the bucket.
Now, one of the buzzwords that everyone loves in football, they talk about anticipation of quarterback, and that of course means that you're throwing a route or you're throwing the ball to a player before they even breaking their route. It's kind of what you see Talana doing right there too.
Yeah, throwing her teammate open.
Then range jumper, no good. Again, 28 seconds of good defense for Stanford. Led to a tough shot. And on the loose possession, we're going to go the other way. A foul coming up on Cal Poly. And with that, we made it to the under 5 media timeout. So we'll take a quick break here too. Stanford with a 5-point lead with 4:20 left to go.
On behalf of the coordinating office of the Stanford women's basketball team, our guest professor for tonight's game is Hong Zhang. Hong Zhang is Courtney's Chinese professor and is an advanced lecturer in the Center for East Asian Studies. Welcome to tonight's game, and thank you for joining us here in Naples Pavilion.
Naples is standing here courtside with Ava, Matt, Carol, up the Dodgers, and the Stanford Tree. At the end of this quarter, we're inviting all the kids to join us down here at this corner, and we are going to lead the combine around the court just like we do in every game in between quarters 1 and 2. No wristbands tonight, you guys. So go ahead and start making your way down here right now. The Dollies, the Trees, and I think the Bears. We're going to roll around the court all together. So make sure you meet us right down here to hit the quarter 1 for the combo.
From the floor, 2-2 from downtown. Meanwhile, Cal Poly shooting 4 of 9 and 0-1 from deep. What else do you see? on that stat sheet that sticks out to you?
Yeah, when you take a look at it, Cal Poly haven't scored in 2 minutes and 11 seconds. So defensively, Stanford is going to lock down and immediately to go inside the rip through. Brink will have a couple of free throws.
It's going to be on Amanda Olinger. That's her first. This is one thing, we talk about Kiki often adding tools to her toolkit. This is one thing I've been really impressed with, and especially the early on part of the season from all of the Stanford post players. That ability to reverse pivot and then attack the basket with an intensity is something that, again, it just spreads throughout the whole team.
Yeah, when you take a look at all three of their post players, they're all kind of mirrored. They can all do the same thing, reverse pivot, drive to the open lane, get downhill. You can tell they teach that. That's something that's a philosophy within inside there in the locker room over there. So you can see how they're able to take advantage of it.
Shania Harriel and also Courtney Ogden, the freshman from my neck of the woods, Atlanta, Georgia, are in the game for the first time now for Stanford. Offensive rebound for the Mustangs. 10 on the clock. Here's the elbow jumper, no good to the right. Another offensive board. Of course, this is something I'm sure Tara Vanderveer does not like seeing right now, as you see a lot of extra possessions coming up for Cal Poly.
Well, anytime you get an extra possession bodes well for you offensively. As you can see what they run like a shuffle type on offense with a double stagger on the other side of the floor. Talking about Cal Poly.
Is that ball movement you talked about? The three-pointer, though, no good. Orland on the attempt. Here comes Lopolo. Trying to get into Brink. Good pass, good steal, Cameron Brink. Good pass, Janiah Harriel for two.
And you talk about the pass, that's the lost art in today's basketball.
The entry pass, yeah.
The entry pass was important there. As Brink was able to do her work early, sealed off her man, and was able to get the ball to the outside hand with the hand that she had up, and she was able to just drop step and finish at the basket.
I still remember the days, even my high school basketball playing days, there would actually be periods of practice where that's all you do is you practice on that entry pass.
It's one of the toughest passes, but it's one of the most effective passes if you can do it effectively.
There's the steal. Harriel now with the other way with it. And again, you just see the size of Stanford is really affecting what Cal Poly at least wants to do inside. Dimitri, corner three, no, a little too strong. Rebound still loose. Looks like it's going to go the other way. But again, just on that point, how many times now do you see these Cal Poly players that get into the paint, they're jump stopping, trying to pivot, get somebody off the ground, and then they have to dish it out because Stanford is doing a pretty good job of staying pretty sound responsibly and staying on the ground and not jumping for fouls.
They're connected defensively and they're shrinking the floor. So anytime you get inside, all of that size, it kind of bothers you. You can't get it over the top. And again, in the Big West, you're not going to have this type of front line that you're facing tonight. So this is kind of something different. So what you want to do is try to get them on the move. That's why you see a lot of shuffle cuts and stagger screens on the opposite side of the ball.
2 minutes left to go here in quarter number one. And Noguera checking into the game now for Stanford. Ogden, three-pointer. Got it. Courtney Ogden, the 6'1 freshman, Westminster School out of Atlanta. Big time three again, per usual. Such a talented class coming in for Stanford this year.
Yeah, the penetration, the kick was exceptional there because all eyes on me. On the point guard goes inside. It shrunk the defense, and she was able to kick it out for the three ball.
Little Tupac reference out of you?
Absolutely.
Pull-up jumper, no good from Shaw. Looks like that went over the backboard, so it'll be Stanford ball.
So you can see now as Stanford is starting to open up the lead, up by 12 now because their size is definitely becoming a problem for the Mustangs of Cal Poly.
Now, it's always going to be interesting to see how Cal Poly started this game off. Again, you look at Cameron Brink with the face-up jumper. And a three-level threat on offense. Really, it could be four if you want to look at it that way. But even in Cal Poly's last game, that last matchup against Cal, they were outscored in that first quarter 29-12. So you talk about putting yourself behind the 8-ball early. You want to see if they were going to have a response and try to correct that. I know sometimes you see a team that has a slow start, they try to really ratchet up that intensity in the next game, but Stanford's answering the call.
Well, you're talking about the number 6 ranked team in the country, and they came off a huge win against Indiana. So now they have the momentum. They know we can play, and I like how they're coming out with their intensity as well. They're not looking past this opponent.
Chloe Clardy in the game now for Stanford. Here's Brink at that elbow. Outside, Clardy 3 is short. And a rebound goes to Sierra Lichty for Cal Poly.
And so Stanford on that possession went to their Princeton-style offense at that point because Brink can run that. She's been in it for the last 4 years. She's really familiar how it operates.
Again, great on-ball defense by Janiyah Harriel there to force the turnover. 13 seconds on the game clock. Shot clock is dead. Clardy with it, and this is that old school look that we saw the last few years from Stanford. Aguera going to the lane, dishes out to Brink. Extra pass. Clardy gonna take the jumper, and it falls out no good at the buzzer. But Stanford dominating defensively ends the first quarter on a 14-0 run, the last 6:22 to open up to a 22-8 lead. When we come back, we'll have some first quarter stats for you and more here on GoStanford.com. Again, 22-8 Stanford leads after one. Second quarter of action about to get underway here in Maples Pavilion. Stanford with the 14-point lead. There's no coincidence at the end of the quarter on a 14-0 run. And Joaquin, one thing I looked at the stat sheet, so when we had that first timeout, the media timeout, right around the 4:20 mark in the first quarter, Stanford had 3 turnovers. You look at the end of the first quarter, Stanford still has 3 turnovers.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of managing the basketball, and they're getting opportunities to score. And that's what you want as a coach. You would rather have a turnover if you throw it out of bounds, because then you can't have a live ball situation. But they're doing a good job. The most important pass in basketball is the first pass. So they're getting to the first pass and the second pass that's allowing them to score.
20 seconds on the shot clock. There's the inbound underneath for Cal Poly. And just no easy passes anywhere on the floor right now for the Mustangs.
Yeah, high hands defensively. Like I said, shrinking the floor.
Now 6, here comes the drive. Richards dishes. Trying to go up against Cameron Brink. Good luck with that. The shot clock expiring, and there's that block from Cameron Brink. And we had the shot clock violation.
What I'm impressed about with the shot block by Cameron Brink is how she closed out. She closed out and forced the drive, and then she was able to recover, as you can see there. So, excellent job.
And the shot clock violation there again. There was no possession after that block. So, Stanford basketball. Bosgana, Jump, Aguera, Brink, and Clardy on the floor for Stanford. Here's Clardy for 3 outside, no good on the corner. Boscana rebounds. A lot of contact around her, and there's the whistle. She looked like she was trying to dish it out to Cameron Brink for an open three at the top of the arc.
Yeah, Boscana did a great job of anticipating the miss coming from the weak side and getting the offensive rebound. She could have easily went up over her left shoulder for a nice little jump hook as well.
Three-pointer no good from Hannah Jump. Ball goes out of bounds to Cal Poly. It's the first three-point attempt from Hannah Jump on the game. And we've seen how proficient she is from downtown throughout her career here.
Yeah, made 100 last season. A nice job of getting her hands on the basketball by Clarity.
Borland driving. Now dishes back out. Clardy again on the ball. And there's going to be the kick ball. But you just see some of the nightmares that Chloe Clardy can give to players on the ball. Talking about the freshman here from Conway, Arkansas.
Yeah, all the players for Stanford, one thing that you see, they're sitting in the stands defensively and both hands are out, pointing the man and ball. You can see there. So they do a great job, again, of shrinking the floor. And then you throw it inside, then you have to deal with Cameron Brink.
Right.
I mean, so she did a great job of coming over the cross, turn inside, you think you have a layup, and said, nope, not tonight.
And that's the thing. Obviously, we know how good of a defender individually Cameron Brink is. But you really saw it in that Indiana game, how great of a defensive effort, team-wise, that this team could do. I mean, obviously, we know how great Indiana is and the post players that they have. As soon as that ball touched the ground, you saw some of those traps coming in. It really gave them problems.
Yeah, and that's going into your scouting report. Are you going to trap on the dribble? Or are you going to trap on the first look? And they did a great job of giving Indiana different looks, and that confuses the post players.
Clardy still with the dribble, and I think that was poked away from behind by Portland. Other way, there's a pump fake. Good defense, straight vertical by Hannah Jump, and now Stanford running the other way. Clardy takes the contact. It's going to be a blocking foul, and so she'll go to the line to shoot two.
Clardy with her head up, coming down the floor in transition. She had the opportunity for a couple of free throws. See here, she goes in hard, use her inside hand, the sneaky hand, and she'll have an opportunity for a couple of free throws.
Break out, area off and in, and even in that point, I think that's something that is going to be fun to watch evolve throughout the course of this year. You think about last season, it was mainly going to be Haley Jones or Talana Lopolo when she was in as well that were going to be those pace makers, if you will, for the Stanford on offense and really pushing. But now, like you just saw Clardy doing it. We even saw Cameron Brink get a block and then lead over to an open three for, I believe, Boscana in the Indiana game in transition. Like, there's so many more ball handlers, it feels like, this year, or at least more players that feel more comfortable doing that and making things happen.
Yeah, and Aguirre can take the ball off the rim, too,
yeah,
and she can create opportunities for her teammates as well. And that's only going to improve as she's, down here on the farm.
24-8, Stanford in front. There's the drive, tough shot in the lane and no good from Richards. Ball goes out of bounds back to Stanford.
Great job of moving their feet. They're connected defensively, communicating. I love how they're putting the man in ball.
Richards showing the pressure. Lopolo steps back. Jumper no good. And the loose ball foul is going to be on Kiki Ariafen as she ran into Anya McNicholas down underneath.
Lopolo used a snatchback dribble there. In and out, nice idea. Change of pace.
Again, she didn't shoot that much last year in her freshman campaign. And look at Boscana in the passing lanes again, and we're going to have a foul going the other way. Sydney Richards tried to hold off Boscana to get that ball back, and she gets the whistle for it. And with that, she's going to come out of the game as Diamond Richardson checks in.
Yeah, Boscana did a great job of shooting the passing lane, but one of my pet peeves, she would use inside hand. If she had outside hand technique, that would have been an easy layup. I'm sure that's something that you take a look at in film and stress.
Three-pointer on its way and down. New Aguirre for three.
And I was talking to Coach Tempe Brown before the game, and I said when she develops that shot, she's going to be a nightmare to guard because she'll be able to score at 3 levels easily.
I know even just before we went live tonight, you were just talking to me about how excited you are to see her growth during her time here.
Yeah, she's going to be an outstanding player. She's athletic, and you have Iriafen as well, so they're going to be able to play together for the next couple of years. And they complement each other so well, Iriafen and Aguirre, because one can play in and one can play outside. One is left-handed, one's right-handed.
Pull-up jumper left short by Shaw. Aguirre clears the boards, and now here comes Lopolo. Almost had to do the pass rush rip move there, if you will, to get off the contact, and gets the whistle. And that's going to be on Richardson. Courtney Ogden checking back in for Boscana now, as Stanford is in the bonus with 6:37 left here in the second quarter, so Talana Lopolo will shoot 2. And Talana from in the East Bay, Alameda, California. And you just saw it in so many different spurts of last season. Now she can have just a calming presence, that pure point guard, if you will, on the floor.
Yeah, she knows how to manage the team, get the team in their offense, which is extremely important. I'm sure something that she's going to work on in her years here is to become more of a scorer, be a threat offensively, then will open up her game for everyone else.
Good drive by McNicholas for 2. Cal Poly now in double figures scoring, they 29-10. Here's Aguirre, jump stops, now back out to Lopolo. Shot clock down to 13. Iriafen, Ogden, three-pointer, good. She didn't even hesitate to think about it, just let it fly.
Yeah, when she walks in the gym, she's open. I mean, she has all the confidence in the world, 10 toes behind the line, and knock it down.
You know, there's something about that confidence that you have growing up when you're from Atlanta. I'm just saying.
I guess so.
They say it's where the players play for a reason.
Hey.
Here comes Lopolo down with it. Swing past the jump. Now Lopolo thinks about it, looks at it, knocks it down. Timeout coming for Chanel Stiers. Again, that's what we talked about before. Continuing to grow as a scorer, and it's that confidence to just let it fly right there. That could be huge for the Stanford offense this year.
Absolutely. Second side shot, was able to rotate the ball to the opposite side of the floor. She walked right in to the open 3 ball. Again, for her confidence level, that's huge for her, because then you take a look at the team itself. They have opportunities to score from behind the arc. Look at Indiana, it was 11 for 29 from behind the arc, and that opens up the inside game as well. We know they have the size. If they can shoot well from the perimeter, when they get Hannah Jump untracked, then they're going to even be much more efficient in their offense.
Yeah, we'll keep it here during this timeout break, as you talk about opening up that offense. I mean, you think about it now. If you just continue to evolve in terms of three-point shooters and floor spacers, think about how hard it is already to try to guard Cameron Brink down low. Think about the start that Kiki Uriafen has had of the season. You talk about the abilities that Aguirre has down low as well. Now all of a sudden you have to switch up your coverages defensively, because if it's, you know, for sometimes maybe last year people thought there's a one shooter out there, talking about Hannah Jump. Now if you surround some of these post players and these bigs, the talented bigs that Stanford has, with even more floor stretchers, it's hard to try to stunt or blitz or do whatever you want to some of the post players, and they have even more space to work.
Well, if you take a look at the game against Indiana, they had 5 players that was in double figures. You had Brink with 20, Iriafen with 20, you had Hannah Jump with 12, you come back with Bosna with 10, and then off the bench you had Aguirre, she had 13. So you had 5 players in double figures, 96 points, but what that does, you have 3 post players between Brink, Iriafen, and Aguirre. If my math serves me correctly, they scored 53 out of the 96 points, which is pretty much half, right? More than half. So you know that's what their strength is at going into the season. So teams are going to have to match up with them inside of the painted areas. So we know that as a scout, you're putting it as a scout report your team, say, listen, we got to take away their inside game. So what does that do? We have to force them to shoot the ball from behind the arc. Well, if I'm knocking down 11 shots, then it opens up the offense again. You can't play, you can't double down because now it spreads the floor.
And you're seeing that right now. Stanford 6 of 10 from downtown in this first half. And I'm sure if usually when you come into a game, you're going against Stanford this year, the big thing you're always thinking about, right? We have to control and limit what 22 does down on the block. Talk about Cameron Brink. Of course, Kiki Irioff and the start that she's had this year has made that even more difficult. But now you're talking about this three-point shooting that they have. I mean, to an extent, I mean, honestly, like, put it on your coach hat for a minute. How would you try to defend the Stanford team?
Well, you have to take one thing away. And so you know what their strength is inside. So you can't let them beat you inside, and you have to force them to beat you from the perimeter. And if they do, you got to tip your hat. But that's the way that we have to play the game, and we have to get at them offensively as well. We have to force them out, put their bigs in screen and rolls, allow them to play away from the basket and try to create some driving lanes.
Hey, Nicholas good on the catch and shoot jumper. Here's Ogden. You say as soon as she steps in the gym, she's open, and she knocks down another one.
And from that right side, so as soon as she steps in, she's open. You see there again, and she has great technique, great form, left, right into her shot. And Garrett just got up there and grabbed that with one hand.
Ogden, you thought maybe for a second there she might shoot it again. Gets it inside to Irioff, and that's also not a bad idea.
But you know what that does? Ogden knocked down a couple of threes, so you can't double on her. So what does that mean? I have one-on-one activity inside Irioff, and she's able to score.
You talked again, and she's from Atlanta area, so I had to give her a nickname. I might have to call her Waffle House because she's always open.
Yeah, exactly. 24 hours.
Exactly. Rebound there by Guerra. 40-12, Stanford leads. Good pass by LaPolo. Just got a little too low, and Ogden couldn't handle it, so there's a turnover. Now Cal Poly swinging it around. Three-pointer on the way from Shaw, left strong. Good hustle, though, by Richardson to keep it alive.
Defensively, Stanford is clamping down. Only 12 points they've given up.
And 12 points on 25% shooting now for Cal Poly. Shot clock down to 3, now 2. There is the step-through move, no good. The shot clock violation. We've seen about 2 or 3 of those already. Talk about the defensive prowess from Stanford tonight.
Yeah, they're playing well defensively. They understand the half-court defense is important. The intensity level is high. They're playing on a string. And they understand if we get stops, we can get out and run as well, too. So kudos to Stanford right now.
Stanford's also forced 9 turnovers from Cal Poly. Flaherty tried to get it out to the corner for Boscana. It's tipped away out of bounds. One thing, too, you talk about Stanford and the offensive versatility. Doesn't it just feel like even as early on in the year as it is that the spacing, it just feels right from what they do so far?
Yeah, because they're shooting the ball from behind the arc. And so what does that do? That opens up the floor because you can't double. As well, they can put shooters on the side of the post players. So if I got Hannah jump, if I got to knock down shots, if I can line her up on the same side as the post player, that means I'm going to get either two things. I'm going to get one-on-one action inside. I can't double off the shooter. That's why you see so much success they're having inside the painted area.
20 seconds on the shot clock after the jump ball. Clardy gets now to Harriel. Trying to get something set up for Boscana. Here she comes off the curl. Good pass into Irioff, and what a catch by Kiki.
So great play. You see that a lot in the NBA. The pin down, you come around for the dump. You see that a lot with the Warriors. They run that play a lot with the pin down. She did a great job. You can see that she's long enough to get it over the top for the drop for the layup.
30-point lead now for the Cardinal. Three-pointer on the way from the left wing is good from Jordan Billing.
That broke a 2-minute and 18 scoring drought for Cal Poly.
And Billing coming into the game, about 3.5 points per game on the year, but she has hit all of her threes. And that trend continues for her as Iriafen now is going to go to the line for Stanford.
And we talk about the growth and development of Iriafen. You see that she caught her on the left block, well, the left pinch post area, ripped through, went to the lane with her left hand. So she can play on both sides of the block, which is important because as a right-hander, if she plays on the right side of the block, she can always go over right shoulder for the left jump hook, which is a great offensive move to have. If I'm on the left side of the block, I can come back over and go over my right shoulder as well to a natural strong side. So you're seeing how she's growing in this offense.
Another thing we've seen too, talking about her evolution, she did such a great job of this and was so fun to see in the Indiana game. That short corner, reverse pivot, face-up jumper that she's added as well.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, from a post player, I used to teach that all the time because if you reverse pivot, open up, it allows you to see the floor. You can see the double teams. You get right to your shooting pocket.
Kiki goes 1 for 2 at the line. There's that scoop shot attempt by McNicholas, no good. Good defense by Dimitri. And again, that's just another example. Again, we talk about the size of the Stanford team. You know, Dimitri's listed as like one of those wings, but even if she's matched up against a guard, she's going to have the size advantage. As there's a three-pointer, good by Janiyah Harriel. We do have a whistle. I believe it's going to be on Kiki Iriafen in the box out. This is one of those fouls where you get the whistle because you're too strong.
Absolutely, but Cal Poly went to a zone defense there, and Stanford was able to diagnose that, swing the ball side to side to get to the open shot.
After that foul, Cameron Brink comes back in, Iriafen out. (46-15) now, Stanford leads, 1:55 left to go in the first half. I'll get that pressure. Ariel's putting on, but she got caught with her hand in the cookie jar. Is going to get whistle for the foul.
Yeah, 50 feet from the basket. No sense to make that foul, in particular because the pressure is already there.
24 on the shot clock. Nicholas has to go to the backcourt to get possession, and Clardy is just all over her for the most part. You see it here. Stanford's just able to switch every single ball screen that Cal Poly's trying to throw at him, and a good box out by Cameron Brink will lead to a foul on Cal Poly, so Brink will go to the line.
And they can do that because they have the size. They're able to move athletically, so there's not a matchup on the floor that they don't need to. They don't have to pass that person off. They can switch, and then you have a long defender guarding you.
Brink shooting 2. Versus any award watch list you can think of. She's on it going into this year. Wade Trophy, Wooden Award, Naismith Trophy, Lisa Leslie Award. Of course, AP preseason All-American. Went over 300 blocks. Big milestone blocking-wise in the Indiana game. And the thing, too, I know she's talked about focusing on it this year is finding a way to stay on the floor and limiting the foul trouble.
Absolutely. Best ability is availability.
You see you right there.
And one area that I really am impressed with Cameron Brink is that she's shooting the free throws extremely well from her freshman year to now. Now she's a legit 3-level scorer now. She can score 3 levels on the floor, in particular the free throw line, late in ball games. So, you know, if you foul her, she has opportunity. She's going to knock down at least 2 of those free throws.
Bosgana fouled on the three-point attempt. She left it short, but on the closeout, Jordan Billing didn't allow her to land, so Bosgana's going to go to the line to shoot 3.
So far, Stanford has 8 3-point shots made. As we mentioned earlier, there was 11 for 29 against Indiana. They're shooting 8 for 13. I mean, that's remarkable. 62% from behind the arc.
First one goes down. Bosgana coming into today, averaging 10 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals. And the junior from Athens, Greece. And of course, you knew with some of the guard play that left Stanford from a year ago, they were going to be looking for someone to step up. And so far, it looks like she's ready to take that opportunity and challenge head on.
Yeah, absolutely. She's played well in the early parts of the season. She's long enough Defensively, she gives you a great effort defensively, and she can knock down the 3 ball, and she's left-handed as well, so she has an advantage from shooting the basketball.
And that defensive presence from Clardy, and now Bosgana getting in the mix as well. Active hands all over the floor defensively for Stanford. Shot clock at 8. Step back 3 on the way. No good. Missing a left is Shaw. Now Harriel going to push. Leaves for Clardy. She'll shoot the 3. That's no good. Brink tips it back, and it's going to be an over-the-back foul.
Now, Brink was running in the middle of the floor asking for the basketball. You got to reward your big if she's going to run to the middle of the floor. That would have been an easy layup for her. The shot was missed, then you get a foul. So that's something that you'll talk about with your team. You show it on film, say, listen, we got to reward her. She's running down the lane because it turns into a foul on the miss.
Second foul on Cameron Brink. She'll come out now to try to avoid getting a cheap foul here right at the end of the buzzer. But what a play there by Clardy defensively. Nice pass to Harriel for 2.
So that's the picture-perfect way of running the 2-on-1, the odd woman transition, and that's how you end the half.
We talked about active hands, and again, it's been a great job. It's almost been teach tape from Chloe Clardy of how to be in the passing lanes. You see her right there on the steal. And then, of course, Stanford, what they always do best, someone else running the floor, and that's how they end this first half. Cardinal end up shooting 59% from the floor, holding Cal Poly to 23%. That's how you open up this 53-15 lead going into the break. And when we come back, we'll have some stats for you, some storylines, and what to look forward to in terms of that Stanford schedule as well. And Stanford up front here at halftime, 53-15. All right, everyone, welcome back inside Maples Pavilions. We get ready for the second half of the Stanford Cardinal and the Cal Poly Mustangs. And no matter what angle you want to look at this from, it's just a very impressive first half. Again, it's offensively, Stanford shooting 59% from the floor, 57% from downtown at an 8 of 14 mark. Also, 13 of 15 from the free throw line, just the 5 turnovers, and then defensively, they hold Cal Poly to 23% from the field, 1 of 8 from three-point line. And I think also what's really impressive, you talk about playing good defense, they're doing it without fouling. No free throw attempts for Cal Poly in that first half.
And you take a look, they've gotten better each quarter. 8 points in the first quarter, 7 points in the second quarter. So they're locking you down on the defensive end, and they're not giving you an opportunity to score from the free throw line as well. As you mentioned, they're moving their feet, communicating defensively, and they're taking away any opportunity in terms of Cal Poly try to get out in transition as well.
See Stanford just active hands everywhere. Hannah Jump getting a deflection. There's the pass out to the corner. Good closeout by Bosgana. And I believe that was Cindy Borland stepping out of bounds, so Stanford basketball.
Yeah, that was a suitcase violation. She traveled there, shuffled her puppies, and that was an easy call for the official.
Stanford starting the second half with the stop. Now here's Talana. Driving in, looked like she was trying to find area off in great position by Kiki. Off no, second chance though good.
And she was able to get off the floor quickly to get her own offensive rebound, a rebounding spot as well. But she does her work so early offensively, you just have to give her the basketball because she's commanding it down in the block.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Doc. You talk about that second jump. I know so many people love to talk about that when it comes to the NBA players and whatnot, but you saw it right there from Kiki as well, how quickly she was able to reload and get off the floor.
Absolutely. That shows the athleticism.
Three-pointer out of the corner, no good from Borland. Hannah Jump with it now. It's 2 points for her in that first half. 1 of 2, 0 for 1 from downtown. And we're going to have it's almost like the 90s basketball for you there, trying to get a little hand check there from Sydney Richards, and she's whistled for the foul.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I want to go back to that defensive stop on the other end as the Mustangs was using a baseline drift, and with Stanford then, they was able to take the baseline away so the pass could not get around to the corner because of the length. That's what it was to get that turnover.
Off the inbound, Elena Bosgana puts it in for 2. Had the horn sound there. Not sure why, but now we're going to go to the corners. I think Cameron Brink might have gotten a hit there. Not sure if that's what this is about, if she had anything that they needed to clean up or not, but now the officials going over to the scorers table.
So do they count the bucket?
And you see there's Cameron right there talking to athletic trainer Caitlin Knox.
Caitlin getting some camera time as well.
And you see there was that inbounds pass, again, a wide open Boscana. And I know you couldn't tell by the replay, but there was the horn sounded. It was almost like right when Boscana was about to get rid of the ball to go up with it. So now I think they're trying to figure out what's going on here.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, did the basket count? Because it seems though the horn went off right when she was in the process of laying it off the window.
Now your officials today, Charles Gonzalez, Lorena Ahumada, and Kelly Broomfield. They're looking at the monitor for something, that is for sure. But again, the question now being, what exactly? Can't really tell until we'll be informed.
Well, Brink obviously got hit in the face.
Yeah.
So we've seen that. So I don't know if they dead at the play there. You can see here.
So there's the elbow right there that got her up by the nose. How about the phenomenal job by our camera crew catching that too on the replay?
Absolutely. And you see the official was counting off as well as the play was going through. So you don't know if they dead at the play before that or not.
So maybe it could be a situation, like you said, you asked the question if they're going to count the bucket. We're not sure, but of course we'll get an update here in a second. Meanwhile, talk about Stanford again, the start that they've had, 2-0 so far. They had the win against Dominican as well in an exhibition. And you go up against Duke this Sunday, and I think what's so awesome about this is that's an ABC game for Stanford. We're seeing that a lot more during the women's college basketball regular season, of that exposure on ABC and ESPN.
Yeah, basketball is definitely changing on the women's landscape, and a lot of people want to watch it. I mean, that's great for the sport itself. More opportunity. It looks as though the basket does count. There's at 55, and then the bucket I'm showing here, the box score, play-by-play, that the bucket does go in. So count the basket for Stanford, which will give them that 57 to 15 lead, 42 points.
Incidental contact, so we'll go back to the point of interruption, which was the main basket, and we'll still have another media at 5 minutes.
So back to go. Okay. So yeah, we just got the official confirmation there. So they had an incidental contact. So they will continue on from where play was stopped, which means the made basket for Stanford going the other way. So again, like you said, I'll count the basket for Boscana. She now has 11 points, and it's a 57 to 15 lead for the Cardinal.
So we talked about the last time out against Indiana, had 5 players over double digits in scoring. If everyone plays, they should have that tonight.
Yeah, they're going right. It looks like they're on track to make that happen once again. So you look at it right now, Boscana's the leading scorer with 11. That three-pointer is no good from McNicholas. Then you have Kiki Ariafen with 9, and now Boscana adds to her point total with 13 going to coast.
And so we talk about Ariafen doing her work early. That allowed Boscana to get that shot because she ran to the front of the rim and the defender had to honor that, and she just followed right behind her for the easy layup.
Step back three on the way, no good from Carter. Another extra possession though for Cal Poly, again working the offensive boards. 10 on the shot clock. McNicholas would jump right in her face.
So they're running a box screen, the screener action. And Stanford did a great job of taking away the driving lanes and that screen, the screener action.
Brink chases down the rebound. Here's Kiki. What a strong move to the basket by Kiki Ariafen.
And she went, I like to call those high and over. She was able to get the ball on the blocks, reverse pivot out, high and over, and use her length to take it off the window for the bucket.
Sometimes it's hard to tell whether if you're watching on TV or on the web stream, as is the case tonight, as there's the jumper good by McNicholas. And you could just see how, and she came in as a strong player, but you can just see how much work Kiki's done to be even stronger going into this year. As there's the left-handed layup again by Boscana.
Boscana goes second side and used her strong hand, you can see here, and finish with the scoop layup. It's kind of some old school layup right there.
Lopolo looking to push, gets it Arioffen again over the hill. Now Boscana, open three. What a swing pass, no. Arioffen rebounds, goes back up for two.
And there is no matchup for her, but again, what she does well, Waddy, she does her work early. She gets to the block, establishes herself, shows her jersey number to the offensive player, and they get the ball to her. And it's pretty much, it is either going to be a layup or a foul with her when she gets it on the blocks.
Ackerman thought about the shot for a second, then went up with it a little bit late. Good rip job, Hannah jump, floater for two, no. You can just see it, and there were times you saw it starting last year as well for Kiki, that confidence in her offensive ability. She doesn't hesitate to attack the basket this year.
Well, because she's comfortable in the offense, and that's one thing that the coaching staff at Stanford was able to do. They went back to the triangle offense, and it suits her skill set much better than the Princeton-style offense.
Lopolo up to jump, three-pointer, no, left it short. Again, you see that ability of Talana Lopolo, whether that is with the dribble or with the pass, to really speed up the Stanford offense and make things happen in transition, as we're going to have a foul there, I believe, on Kiki Arioffen on the rebound.
I love the advanced pass. You know, you want to play ahead. You're talking about football, to play ahead of the sticks. I love the play ahead in basketball, advance the basketball, two dribbles it up, because it forces the defense to get back and you have open shots. Jump was just not able to knock it down.
Of course, more times than not, she will be able to, as we've seen that throughout her career. Three out of the corners, left short. Cameron Brink above everybody else for the rebound, but we're going to have a carry violation there. It looked like she wanted to get that up to Courtney Ogden, but I believe Courtney turned away, so Cameron gets the turnover.
Yeah, you nailed that, because she looked at her, but Ogden was getting up the floor in transition, so she decided to keep it. Easy call for the official for the turnover.
Jordan Hoffman inbounds it for Cal Poly. And the high screen. Janiyah goes down, wincing a little bit, but it looks like she's okay. Again, Stanford just switching everything out up top. 12, now 11 seconds on the shot clock. Good defense by Dimitri. And everything that goes into the paint right now for Cal Poly comes right back out, but at least it works this time, as Annika Shaw puts it in for three. And then on the other end, Harriel is sent away, and now we'll have a jump ball, but possession arrow will keep it with the card.
And we talked about the advanced pass. You can see that Harriel got it up the floor quickly, two dribbles out. That's something you teach your guards. Two dribbles, chin up, get the ball up the floor, advance the floor, because the ball travels faster than the opposing player.
At the media timeout now, so we'll take a break. 65-20, Stanford with a controlling lead. .432 remaining in a quarter number 3. Stanford leading the way in this third quarter, 12 points to 5, and then of course overall 65-20. As they're going to get ready to have this inbound underneath after that jump ball, and once again they get a good look on the ATO. Courtney Ogden, I know she wanted that and one opportunity, but she'll go to the line to shoot two.
Yeah, nice up screen, and she was able to come right around. Was not able to finish, but she doesn't make shots inside the three-point line. I mean, that's what it was. If it had been for a three-point line, she should have knocked that down. I'm sure that's something she's going to go back and look at film.
And Courtney coming in was a 5-star recruit, ranked as the 10th best player in the country by ESPN Hoop Girls, and all the different All-American list you can name. She was part of it. McDonald's, Jordan Brand, WBCA. An absolute talent coming to the farm with Tara Vanderveer.
And she can shoot the ball, which is going to bode well in the later years, because she has those post players to work with as well.
That one slipped out of the hand of Ollinger, trying to go up with it. Clardy with it. Stanford. Gets the screen and roll, pull up. No good, hit everything on the rim but down. But you see Harriel following up on the back tap. So another possession for Stanford. Aguera going up over that right shoulder is going to draw the foul. So she'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, she was able to go, but she wanted to come back over that right shoulder. She'd have been better served going on the inside and going over her left shoulder using the right-handed jump hook.
First one good.
Now on the entry pass Ogden made, they doubled down on her. She'll learn if she just kind of slides down a little bit lower, that'll give her the opening pass because she was too high. She slides down a little bit lower, then she'll have the 3 ball as well. But that's something they'll kind of look at film and kind of coach her through.
Stanford shooting 84% from the free throw line in this one. Jump hook, no good. And Ollinger fouls Dimitri on the rebound.
I like the idea, but she really didn't have the confidence going up for that shot. She just kind of threw it up, hoping to get fouled. But again, that's the length inside the vertical spacers. You're not facing that in the Big West, 6'4", 6'5", down on the blocks.
Well, again, you think about it this way, and I'm so glad you brought up this point. As you see it again, a strong take by Aguera going to the right. This is a lineup right now for Stanford. You don't have Kiki Iriafen in the game. You don't have Cameron Brink in the game. But you still can sense how rushed that Cal Poly feels at times in the paint. McNicholas no good on her drive. Clardy pushing. Here's Ogden. You know that's going up. No good. Missed it long.
Well, what you do see on the floor is 3 freshmen.
Yeah.
And so now you're watching them. They're able to get some valuable minutes. This is better than scrimmaging because you're playing against players that you don't know. You can't call timeout. You can't reset. So now you're in live opportunity. And this is great because you have film you can go to as well. As you know, as a former athlete, film is the best teacher because now I can look at it, diagnose some things, point things out on film that allows you to grow as an athlete.
And they always say the eye in the sky doesn't lie.
And those are very interesting conversations, right? When you
Oh
look at
my
film.
goodness.
You said you didn't do it. Film doesn't lie. I used to tell my athletes all the time when I come out of the game, I say this is what they did. They say no. I say, okay, we'll take a look at it.
Well, you'll look at the film.
We'll look at film. And then they'll say, okay, coach, you were right. You know, you can always say, I remember at one particular time a player wasn't running as fast as I thought. And I said, hey, you're not moving fast. He said, coach, I'm running. I said, okay, we'll take a look at film. And so the next day we looked at film. He said, I guess I wasn't running as hard as I thought I was.
And of course, you know, you think about it from the football side of things where those coaches have that clicker. So you're just running through the same thing over and over. It's like, you tell me.
Absolutely.
Harriel, good drive. And there was contact. They're going to get the offensive foul. We've seen Janiyah Harriel hit the ground here a couple of times. Not afraid to put her body out there, but Sierra Lichty was the one that put her body on the line as well to draw that charge.
And that's the first charge we've seen on both teams is Lichty was able to get her feet outside the smiley face for the first one of the afternoon, well, for the evening for both teams.
So that first charge comes 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. And it's the 7th turnover overall for Stanford tonight. We're up to 14 for Cal Poly. Tough turnaround jumper, no good. Good defense from Courtney Ogden. And Stanford looking to run. Clardy, tough shot thrown up, but she got the contact and there's going to be the foul. So we just talked about Lichty taking a charge and now she's going to get the blocking foul here.
Clardy missing his transition. She was able to get the ball and go coast to coast, take it off the rim, looking to finish.
First free throw is up and good. You talk about, again, this lineup, all the freshmen, the young players that are out there right now for Stanford. I mean, again, I know she's a redshirt sophomore, so going on year 3, but you think about someone like Janiyah Harriel, who at least early on hasn't played that much, you know, the first few years. But I think it's so good for some of the younger players to be out there with her because she can still kind of be that leader, that vocal player out on the floor that kind of leads the way for the young players.
Well, she knows what to expect because she's played in the conference before. So that's a huge learning experience, as you mentioned. Her experience on the floor, and she can coach them through some certain situations. She knows the offense. She understands what it takes to play defense on the defensive side of the ball. So those are things that you can't really teach, but you have that experience and this kind of osmosis, so to speak. They can look at her and she can relate. You know, coach isn't mad at you because that's a big thing.
Right.
You know, she's not yelling at you. Listen to what she's saying. Don't take it personal, which is so important in sports.
I think another thing about that too that's so great is you look at the Stanford coaching staff. This is something that they've always done, where you have a lot of Tara Vanderveer's former players that'll be on the staff. You see that again this year. Jeanette Poland's over there, and of course adding to it as well, you want to even do like a more recent flair to it. Erica McCall, who's formerly known and well known around these parts as Bird, she's on the staff this year. So again, someone that can relate to, again, like you're saying for Janiyah with this group, even just the whole team as well. If anyone knows about how it is to be coached and coached hard by a legend like Tara Vanderveer, it's Erica McCall you see right there in the middle of your screen.
And also you have Tempe Brown. She's back as well. So, I mean, now you have the continuity. Tempe Brown understands what it takes to be a Stanford Cardinal. Like you said, Erica McCall's over there as well. So she's a recent player, but how good was she? You can look through the history, right?
Exactly.
So when she's talking to you, you say, okay, well, obviously she was able to do it. She was successful for 4 years.
Layup attempt again, no good by McNicholas. Here comes Harriel with it. A bit of pressure now Cal Poly's trying to show. Dimitri was not afraid to take shots from outside. Here's Aguirre with it, going to her left. Got in trouble there and turned it over.
Yeah, she picked up her dribble and had nowhere to go with the basketball.
Shot clock and game clock about 12 seconds apart. Nice pass to find Lichty underneath for two. Probably the easiest look we've seen Cal Poly have in a long time.
I would agree.
Shot clock is off now. 19 seconds to go. Stanford hosting the 51-point lead right now. Yes, I did that quick math in my head.
What you are Stanford, right?
Two-time Stanford, right?
Absolutely.
Shot clock, game clock down now to 3. Here's Dimitri. Got to go with it. Got to get something up. Shoots a fader. Almost put it in on the baseline, but that will do it for quarter number 3. Stanford, the 73-22 lead going into the break. When we come back out of it, Doc already talked about what to expect out of this conference, and we have to talk about this conference because, oh my goodness, is it going to be a fun one in the farewell of the Pac-12, of course. We'll talk about that too coming out of the break. Going into the final frame of regulation, Stanford the 73-22 lead. They'll start off with the basketball. And Doc, we talked about this, or teased it going into the break, as there's a catch and shoot 3, no good from Dimitri. And this is a Pac-12 conference that is absolutely loaded. I mean, this is a conference that's always good year in, year out. But you see some of the talent that is coming, that is here this year. I mean, you've already seen it on a national scale. I believe it was on TNT. You had Colorado in Las Vegas taking down LSU, and of course we all know the hype around them, the reigning national champions. Angel Reese is back. They bring in Haley Van Lith from Louisville, and Colorado took it to them. But yeah, this is one of those very few years in Pac-12 play where you don't look at it and Stanford is expected to win the conference.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Stanford is ranked 3 coming in the preseason. But you mentioned when we talk about the Pac-12, this is the one year, because I asked you off camera, how do you feel? You played in the Pac-12. But if you just look at just football in itself, this is probably the best year that I can remember in regards to the talent level in football, and this is it. I mean, it's unfortunate because you're not going to see that no more. But as I said earlier, I think it's going to come back in 7 to 8 years. I think they're going to reconvene with the Pac-12 because the travel, the student-athlete experience, I just don't know how they're going to be able to continue that with all the sports.
You
So
know,
we'll see.
I've said before, it's almost like this is the Avengers Endgame, that final part where all the Avengers, everyone in the Marvel universe comes back to beat Thanos. It's like that's what all these teams are doing. You talked about from top to bottom, the talent in football this year. You have two teams right now trying to fight for a college football playoff berth, being Oregon and Washington. 3 quarterbacks who were Heisman-level players, right? Bo Nix, Michael Penix, of course, Caleb Williams at USC. Ogden for 3 is no good. Aguirre fighting for the rebound, but it eventually gets to Cal Poly. And you talk about the talent that returns. You know, Colorado, Stanford, UCLA, how they've loaded up. You've seen Juju Watkins already, the talent she has at USC. You know, Washington State, who won the tournament last year, is still going to be good. Utah's going to be really good. And then even in men's basketball, you saw it already. Arizona, I believe, went into Cameron Indoor and beat Duke.
It's definitely, I think the novice of it all will kind of die down in the beginning. So you get to see Duke come in, you get to see North Carolina come on the West Coast and play teams that we normally don't see. But at the long run, I think you just can't maintain that just for the student athletes as a 3-ball was knocked down there. We'll see. We'll definitely see how this all plan out.
And of course, Stanford making the move to the ACC alongside their Bay Area friends, the Golden Bears.
Are they friends, actually? I mean,
I use the term friends loosely, especially this week, right? It's big game week coming up. Shot clock violation again after the long 3 miss by Mary Carter. Shot clock goes off. Another good job. And then that's, I believe, shot clock violation number 4 I've seen from the Stanford defense.
Well, I could say that you're getting soft in your old age, because if you consider Cal your friends, I mean, that you've evolved in the last 7 years.
Well, I'll say it this way. Obviously, I've had a couple games I've called on that campus too, so I'm appreciative of everyone who works over there. But I'll tell you this much: on Saturday, we're not friends, right?
Let's be clear.
When it's time to tee it off and kick it off over in Stanford Stadium for the Axe, we aren't friends.
I just wanted to be clear, because you were getting soft in your old age.
See, no, you try to get me in trouble. That's what you did. Corner 3 on the way, no good. Left short by McNicholas. Now here comes Ogden bringing it up the floor. Ogden, Harriel, Bosgana, Papadaki, and Dimitri, the 5 for Stanford right now. Bosgana tried to hit Ogden on the cut, but still gets it back. Nice pass, but Bosgana couldn't handle it.
Let's talk about the defense, though, for Stanford in these 3 quarters.
Yeah.
8 points in the first quarter, given up 7 and 7 in the second and third quarter. So defensively, they're totally locked in.
And I mean, you look at it this way too. Look at some of the point totals that they've given up so far this year. Again, in the exhibition against Dominican, as there's the turnover, only 53 points to the Penguins in that game. You go against Hawaii, you only give up 40. Again, top 10 team, Indiana, you give up 64. This is something that's consistent early on in the season for Stanford.
Yeah, they're shrinking the floor well on the half-court side, which is important. They have the length, the vertical spacers inside, and they're able to play on the perimeter well. So they can funnel all the action inside, and they have the space eaters inside to take away those shots. You have a shot blocker. Her 300 shot block was against Indiana. We thought we was going to get that against Hawaii, but I guess she was saving it for ESPN. We would have liked to have it because we was actually calling, and we'll say, keep her in the game. We'll get the number 300, but she wasn't listening to us, so she wanted to show that on ESPN. But you have the opportunity, you funneling everything inside to one of the greatest shot blockers in Stanford's history. And then you have both Iriafen and the freshman coming in as well as Agara. She's able to eat up space as well. So they're funneling everything inside, forcing you to beat them from the perimeters, and it's turning out well so far.
And yeah, we talked about it too, that switchability that is all around the floor for Stanford. And you know, as we talk about how loaded this conference is this year, that's going to be something that's going to be very important, because you think about it. With teams like Utah, what are you going to do if they want to do some on-ball action with Gianna Neekins up top, and then, of course, all the things that they can do underneath. What are you going to do against, maybe whether it's against Rice, and of course, Lauren Betts, who's now down at UCLA, or Juju Watkins is making things happen as well at USC, or what Sherrod can do with Colorado. There's so many things and so many actions that people are going to want to try to throw at you in this conference. So Stanford being able to switch and make so many things happen defensively where you're not really worried about a given matchup is going to be huge once Pac-12 play kicks off here.
And before we forget, I want to give a shout out to Lorena, the referee. I mean, I've been knowing her for eons, right? She used to call my games, official my games, and we have a great relationship. She never gave me a technical foul, which was great. So we have a great relationship. But it's her birthday today, and we wanted to get a shout out to her as well. And then again, her family's here watching her play. Lives in Oakland. I actually grew up the game, so a wonderful individual. And again, she's one of my favorites because in my 9 years of coach, she never gave me a technical foul. So she's on my good side.
Well, so that begs the question: did you deserve a technical foul?
I never deserve a technical foul.
Okay, so she didn't really do you any favors. She just did her job.
Yeah, she did her job.
Okay.
But I may have stepped over the line once or twice. Once or twice, you get in the heat of the moment in the game. You never know, say some things, right? But she's a great person.
Okay, well that's good to know. And again, it's happy birthday to her. This crew again doing a good job here tonight. Obviously, you always know a referee or coaches are usually happy when you don't see them saying much to them, and I haven't really seen that from either side of things. 3-pointer, no good. Ariel now with it going the other way. And she's played about 20 minutes in this game so far. As Aguera couldn't avoid the charge. Good job stepping in on that baseline drive by Sydney Richards to get the charge call.
Yeah, she left her feet and had no choice at that point as she was able to get up under, got there well early for the charge. That's the second one we've seen in this half alone without having any in the first half.
Whistle underneath. I believe that is going to be, I think I saw, it's going to be 24. Okay, so that's on Stavi Papadaki, the sophomore from Greece. There's the kick out. Now the drive to the right again. You see Stanford switching everything. Now underneath, Ogden, good defense, but good touch by Mary Carter underneath for two.
Yeah, she was able to get over the left shoulder and they created a turnover in the backcourt.
So Cal Poly will get the ball back once again as Brooke Dimitri now will check in for Boscana. And Boscana, good game today. 15 points on 5 of 8 shooting. And Nicholas trying to drive. Tough pass and tipped out of bounds by Aguera. Good job defensively by the freshman.
And I love that outside hand technique. Was able to get her hands on it. Deflections are huge.
22 on the shot clock. Good drive past Papadaki. No good, though, on the layup by Richards, and Ogden brings it in. Again, a very young group out on the floor right now for Stanford. I'm sure Tara Vanderveer and staff really just looking for some of that execution to continue that we've seen for majority of this game. And that's one way to help with that. Janai Harriel, another three.
Well, you can see they was confused on the offense, how they wanted to run it. They didn't know if they was in a triangle set or the Princeton series, the away series. They figured it out, and they get the 3-ball from behind the arc.
Tough pass underneath, ball on the ground, still loose. Borland settled things down. Now here comes Richards with 10 seconds. Good hesitation move to get to the right hand.
Yeah, change of pace. Showed her liquidity with the basketball, was able to flip it off the glass.
Yeah, just a little too excited there as she commits the foul about 75 feet away from the basket. I'll tell you what, Doc, you look at this Cal Poly team, and coming into the year, I knew there were going to be some questions, right, just about their ability to get points on the board. You see who was coming back in the production. again, there's nobody on this team that coming into this season was returning and scoring more than 9 points a game. Your leading scorer leading scorer this year in terms of career is Mary Carter. Of course, only 5 games into her career, but 8.5 points a game. But besides that, I mean, McNicholas has played over 72 games, 7.7. Ackerman coming in about 5.5, and right now she is that leading scorer this year, scoring about 12 a game. But I will say this, I think you've seen some building blocks, though, going forward. Again, you talk about Chanel Stiers and her ability to coach and develop a program. I think you see some building blocks of what they can go with going forward.
Well, it takes you at least 2 recruiting classes. She came in last year, so this was her first true real recruiting class. We'll see what happens next year. But again, they can take a look at her there. She was a great player. I go back to that. People really don't know how good she was, and she's an excellent coach as well.
Lauren Green checking in for the first time for Stanford as Nunu Aguera once again reverse pivot from the elbow, knocks it down. That is a sweet lefty shot that she has going on too.
And when she's going to develop that as the years progress forward, and that's going to make her even more of a difficult guard because she's going to have a couple of ways that she can beat you.
Just under 3 minutes left now. And Stanford back in action on Sunday. ABC matchup against Duke. Harriel for 3. No, missed it to the right. Be another one of those eventful weekends of sports on the farm. Again, the big matchup everyone's talking about, big game on Saturday. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't say something about this because you try to get me in trouble talking about being friendly with Cal. So, of course, Kevin Dana, who does a phenomenal job on the radio for women's basketball. Of course, KD.
Who's that? Who's that guy?
That's some guy I think you might work a couple of things with him, too, right down in Santa Cruz. That's deflected out of bounds. So, this year he's been working as the on-field reporter for Cal football games.
I've seen
so
that.
He's going to be at big game in blue and gold this year. So you want to talk about me being friendly, that's the person that we need to get on.
Absolutely. I mean, he's adding more tools in the toolbox as well.
Traitor. 3-pointer good from Harriel.
And I see right across the table over there as well.
No, I was joking with Kevin earlier before the game. I told him, I'm calling you a traitor on the air, too. I just want to let you know that. And got a good laugh out of it. As we're going to have a reach in there, I believe Lauren Green from behind. That's the first on Lauren. 86-30 lead for Stanford right now. It's gonna be a sold-out big game too. As a matter of fact, I saw that note the other day. There's a pass underneath. Good rotation by Dimitri to mess with the shot as it falls off by Ackerman, but Stanford turns it over. Did we hit the bubble gum over there?
Can't do that.
You can't mess with the bubble gum.
No, you can't do that. And the referee, see what he did? He took a couple and put it in his
right away.
I seen that. We got that on camera.
Hey, he understood the moment.
He understood the assignment, right?
Exactly. Again, just talking about Stanford, what they have coming up. Of course, after that, they got to go on the road with one of those in-season tournaments. They'll start off against Belmont, then they'll play the winner of Florida State and Northwestern. Second shot again, no good. You can see the frustration there from Ackerman underneath. It's not very often tonight that we've seen some easier looks from Cal Poly underneath the basket. So, especially someone of Natalia's ability, you get those misses on the easy ones, that's going to bother you.
Well, if you take a look at it, I mean, if this game continues the way it is, have a minute 21, 91 seconds left in the game, Cal Poly has not shot a free throw. So if that's something you want to talk about in terms of being dominant on the defensive end, they have not shot a free throw. But we'll see. We'll give the announcers jinx here and see what happens. But so far, so good.
I just want to have it on record. If that does happen, you're the one that said it, not me. Pull-up jumper is good from Sydney Borland.
So I may be getting trolls on Twitter.
Exactly. I'm going to direct them all your way. You want to get me in trouble about being friendly with Cal, so no, that's all you. Jumper short from Aguera. And 43 seconds left to go. And for Cal Poly, they will go up to the Pacific Northwest after this. They have a matchup with Seattle U before another Pac-12 opponent that they'll be going up against down the Galen Center with USC. And a shot underneath, no good. Shot clock is dead. And we'll see if Stanford here just dribbles it out.
I tell you what, I don't believe in all the years I've watched basketball and coached basketball that I've seen a team hold another team without getting one free throw.
I think I'm with you.
That has to be a record in the history books. I don't know if that's ever happened in terms of Stanford basketball. I've never seen that before. So kudos to the defensive end because they played lights out defense. To not give up one free throw to the course of the game is exceptional.
And again, the thing about it too, just to echo onto that, it isn't like they weren't being a physical, aggressive defense, right? Like usually sometimes that's where you'll see certain fouls happen because you're trying to be overly aggressive. You're being in those passing lanes. You're trying to jump certain passes. They were still doing that. Of course, doing a good job protecting the paint. And so still, to your point, no trips to the free throw line. That is remarkable.
They were solid defensively, and they didn't take chances. They just played a solid defense. They were connected. It was on a string, as they say. And anytime you give up no free throws in a game, I mean, that's exceptional. And they did a great job. I'm sure they're going to talk about that in terms of the locker room because that's something I don't recall ever seeing. At least he gets one free throw. They didn't get any free throws.
No, I'm right there with you. And it was a phenomenal job defensively. Cameron Brink leading the way once again in blocks. She had 3 that goes right along with what she's been averaging on the year. He also got 1 as well from Brooke Dimitri and another one from Janiyah Harriel. Talking about, again, that Stanford job defensively. And here's the thing, too. They did it in the inside. They did as well on the outside. 2 of 17 from three-point range from Cal Poly in this game.
Yeah, the only thing that Coach, the Hall of Fame Coach Carl Vanderbilt can point to and say, listen, we didn't have the intensity in the fourth quarter defensively. Yeah. We gave up 10 points. I mean, we can't have that, right? So we gave up 8, 7, 7. We can't have 10. Who was the mental breakdown at? What's going on here? But in all seriousness, 32 points, no free throws. I mean, here's another stat here. They had 17 assists on 28 made baskets. So they're sharing the basketball, they're moving the basketball, and allowing people to get involved. You take a look at the scores. You had Iriafa with 13, Bosnia with 15. You had Harriel off the bench with 14. 10 by Ogden, because I said she's open when she walks into the gym. And then you also had, Aguera had 9, and they didn't play the entire rank. You look at Brink, only had 8. She played, 16 minutes in the game. And so you know that they could have done more if they'd have played more. So this was a good opportunity for them to get some run. No one got injured, which is so important, and they allowed other players to get an opportunity to get some run as well, because that's going to be huge as they progress towards season.
It definitely allowed for the Stanford team to show off that depth that they have, and I think that's one of the numbers and stats here that's so impressive to me. The bench points, 40-9 in terms of the bench scoring, leading the way for Stanford. Well, that'll do it here. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Again, your leading scorer on the evening, Elena Busgana with 15. Britt Dimitri was right behind, Janiyah Harriel was right behind her with 14. A balanced attack all the way up and down through the lineup for Stanford. So alongside Joaquin Wallace, I'm Jordan Watkins. Thanks again for tuning in through GoStanford.com. Again, the final score here from Maples, Stanford 86, Cal Poly 32. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you at Maples again on Sunday.